welcome to this week's episode of MCTV's I'm Jake. Middle Seats is your source for all things cinema here at Marist College. Our show is divided into 3 segments. We talk about the most interesting news in film this week with the top 5. Then we discuss our featured review, which this week is of indie horror film It Follows. And then we'll talk to one of the key players behind the scenes of the Middle Seats in our 3rd segment simply titled Peter. Take a seat, everyone. It's going to be pretty rad.
Okay, I just thought about 3 things in that 30 seconds. One, this
that.
is the first time I've ever worn my glasses on the show, so y'all are seeing a different side
He's
of
actually
Andrew
Clark
than
Kent.
usual. 2, I don't know why I didn't pull my chair in because look at how much room I have. But I like it frees up my legs. That's what I like.
TMI.
3, I literally stared at you through that whole thing, and that's gonna be really funny to watch on playback.
So you can never give me.
It's really
crap
weird,
again.
Jake doing the opening is just the thing. So I don't know what to do with myself. Jake just kind of like intimidates all of you. Just like, yeah, we have all that in the show
See,
today.
you don't know what to do either. It's not just me.
I don't know. I like started rubbing my legs and
I
I was
don't know what
like,
to do with my arms. Put them down, Ricky Bobby.
all right.
All right, so-
that was my contribution.
Well, thank you. Before we talk about It Follows, it's time to follow this segue into the top 5.
These are the stories from the past week that we found pretty cool. They are ranked in ascending order.
For our first news story, we have another classic being rebooted. Not to be confused with The Flash, the 80s high school football star turned into galactic hero, Flash Gordon, will be getting another film, and Matthew Vaughn is eyeing the director's chair. Vaughn is fresh off of his hit spy organization film, Kingsman, and hasn't taken any breaks. No actors have been cast yet, nor have we received a release date, but it sounds like Seth MacFarlane's Ted threw in its references at a perfect time, sparking the memories and ideas of the hero story as it approaches in coming years. Do you remember the comedic stuff with the Flash Gordon and Ted?
Oh yeah, it's one of the highlights of the film, I think.
Snorts cocaine.
Have you ever seen the actual Flash Gordon?
No, I haven't.
I really want to watch it.
Yeah,
I've
no, I
seen
kinda
like
want to
snippets
also.
and stuff, and there's like a point where he gets like a football and he throws it at the aliens or whatever.
No.
I don't really understand it.
I saw one
need
part
to
where
see it.
I think I did see one brief 2-minute
Yeah.
thing on TV once. But
All I know is it has one of the best theme songs of all time. That's
true.
for certain.
Flash. And then enter Queen. I'm not
And
gonna
then
try.
and then
I'm not gonna try.
and then
But
enter
Queen
Freddie
does it, and
Mercury
it's great.
and drop the mic.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird mix, but Matthew Vaughn is a very good director of making things that might
Yes.
not work. And
Right.
this is a prime example of a property that he can really take and make his
Yeah.
own.
I mean, I hope it's not quite as violent as Kingsman. I don't think that's the road you would take for Flash
I don't think
Gordon.
so, yeah.
But you're right with the part where he's very good at taking movies that are kind of iffy and then just nailing them on the head.
Although I would be really interested to see if he took that really violent. Like the guy, he throws a football and it like decapitates someone.
It's like a spike football.
Yeah, it gets like really dark really
There's
fast.
a spear attached to it.
Yeah.
Now we're talking Michael Bay. So.
And now I want to see that movie and not the one we're actually probably going to get, which is disappointing. But anyways,
Sorry.
it is, of my opinion, that Dominic Cooper is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. His work in films such as The Devil's Double, Captain America the First Avenger, and even bad films such as Need for Speed and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter should not go unnoticed. Cooper is now rumored to star in the TV adaptation of highly revered but relatively unknown comic book series, Preacher. Cooper would play Jesse Custer, a Texas priest who learns that God has left heaven and goes on a demanding trip to find him. It's more complicated than that, I'm sure, but the interesting concept seems prime for TV. AMC is producing the series. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, weirdly enough, are executive producing. That last note is a really weird part of the story.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's not a comedy, then
I mean,
I don't know.
they're actually very good at action.
They actually are.
Yeah.
They've done some
It's-
good action scenes.
Like this is the
admittedly.
end. The interview had some of the best action scenes of its year, which really surprised me going
absurd,
into it.
But
I love Dominic Cooper. I think he's a very, very talented actor.
I've only seen him in a couple of things as like Howard Stark and maybe something else that I'm forgetting. Only minor roles.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine in what I have seen him in.
I didn't realize how scarce his IMDb page was because I feel like he's been in a lot of it, but I looked it up and he
Yeah.
hasn't been in much. But he's consistently the best thing about everything he's in. He is brilliant in The Devil's Double. He has to play a double role. It's a film that everybody should check out. It's one of the more like under the radar films of the last few years. He has to be subdued and insane at the same time in 2 different performances, and he nails that balance well. And I think this is a pretty wild role. I mean, I've heard of the Preacher comic before, but I know people like it. But I think AMC can take this and make this a really special series if they are up to the task that they've did with The Walking Dead for a while.
Yeah. Walking Dead. We know. I don't know. I know you stopped watching. It went down for me for a while, and the last few episodes of season 5 were okay, but off topic, I'm glad Dominic Cooper is getting like a bigger role
Yeah.
and getting his chance to shine. Because I feel like I didn't see The Devil's Double, but I feel like he's not often the main character. He's just kind of like J.K. Simmons was for a while. He's kind of like a side character who
That's a
does
good
fine
comparison,
everything
yeah.
he is. But
He's very good as part of an ensemble, but he also
Yeah.
can carry a movie too.
Right.
He's got that duality that's really special in an actor.
like in Devil's Double. Sorry.
I set
Anyway.
myself up for that. That was nice.
Anyway, last year's Oscar nominee and winner Whiplash has gotten writer and director Damien Chazelle a ton of praise. Now Chazelle is working on a new project, the music La La Land, and is looking to cast already familiar co-stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in the leads. La La Land is a musical and is being written by Chazelle. He's described it as modern-day Los Angeles and how we all know it, and it gradually turning into the city that is actually worthy of the dreams it inspires. I quote him. When asked for comparisons, Chazelle said, think Boogie Nights and The Graduate and push it further so its citizens are pushed into song. Gosling and Stone have co-starred together twice, in 2011's Crazy Stupid Love and 2013's Gangster Squad. La La Land is set to release sometime next year, but the cast for it is yet nothing certain. I'm gonna see anything Chazelle does at this point because I've only seen Whiplash the one time, but the more I think about it, it's just this great movie. And I mean, he wrote and directed it himself, and it was basically like the first big thing he's done. I know he's done a couple other like smaller things, but Whiplash was his big like foot in the door. You're in it now.
You know what I really want to do before the end of the year? I want us to go through like all the news stories we've covered and compile a top 10 list of the people that we've covered on the show. Damien Chazelle has to have topped, like not topped the list, but like in the top 10.
Well, I mean, Marvel tops it, but
Well, yeah, right. If we're doing specific people.
Right.
We talk about Chazelle a lot. We talk about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes a lot. We talk about the Lego movie a lot. By the way to slip that in your review as we're getting to that. Spoilers for the
getting to that,
review.
yeah. Thank
But
you.
Gosling and Stone have chemistry.
man, you got some ADD tonight.
I do. I'm all over the place. I'm so out of it. I let Jake write half the script, so I didn't do
Which
anything
there's
this week.
nothing wrong with thank you, but
It was like parents' vacation. Like you just
So-
leave the kids at after-school program and just
so
go
because
crazy.
he lets me do some
have
of the
a glass
work,
of
he
wine
just-
on the porch and read like Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's the second straight week we've done Chicken Soup for the Soul.
What are you
I'm done
doing?
with this.
I'm so
Ryan Gosling,
confused
Emma
by
Stone,
him.
Damien Chazelle. We're good. We're done with this now. My turn.
go.
In more Ryan Gosling related news, there's a surprising amount of it this week. The 34-year-old heartthrob has been rumored for 2 more major projects. The first is Guillermo del Toro's reboot adaptation of The Haunted Mansion. Disregarding that 2003 Eddie Murphy debacle, del Toro's vision has been in development for a while now, as he has like 32 other things on his mind right now. The second project that Gosling was attached to this week has been in development even longer, as he now is in talks to star in the long-delayed sequel to 1982's Blade Runner. Prisoners director Denis Villeneuve was hired by Ridley Scott back in February, which won't start shooting until summer 2016. Also on the Gosling front, while we were at it, he dyed his hair brown. Scandalous. I saw pictures of it on the internet.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are upset about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not start.
I think it's for a role. Why did we start with that?
Yeah, let's not start that with our banter. It is definitely a Haunted Mansion like live action reboot
Yep.
and such, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And Guillermo del Toro, who does some really odd and creepy stuff, he's doing
Crimson Peak.
Crimson, yeah.
Which is like, I'm thinking like, why do you need to make a Haunted Mansion movie after you do Crimson Peak and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark?
Right. I'm very kind of curious and intrigued to see where his take is on Haunted Mansion, though. I mean, I only saw it the one time when it came to theaters, and I was like 9. But
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It really isn't.
I don't
It's a match made in heaven, though. It's Del Toro and really creepy atmosphere. So
right.
yeah,
and,
this should
and
work.
Gosling, there's something very odd about him in Drive. I could kind of see him doing a creepy role like
Yeah.
this. I could see it.
Yeah, and on the Blade Runner front, have you ever seen Blade Runner, the original?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get like flack for this. I wasn't a big fan though.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had to watch it for Professor Bass's like extra credit kind of, and I mean, I've never seen it before, so I was all pumped to like finally see it, and I was like, oh okay, that was it.
But people have been asking for the sequel for a while because this
Yeah.
movie has its fanatic fans. And
Yeah, I know it
you know
does.
What? I'll see it. Gosling's a compelling lead if they
Yeah,
choose him.
not a bad guy.
Yeah.
So.
So I think it's good to see he's getting more work. That's the one thing because he is a very talented actor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on another note, our top news story tonight involves the takeover of director Patty Jenkins on major DC Universe project Wonder Woman. While fans were really nervous and skeptical when TV director Michelle McLaren left the project earlier this week for creative differences, another female director has jumped on board to helm the project. Patty Jenkins has been a director on Entourage, Arrested Development, and The Killing. There's a theory that she was so gung-ho for the project due to having split from Marvel during the production of Thor: The Dark World. Joining with their rivals would only make sense. It should also be noted that Jenkins wrote and directed 2003's Monster, which won Charlize Theron an Oscar for Best Actress. This tale of two Titan superhero universes continues to sound like a real-life movie now that a key player has switched sides, and it's making things interesting. Have you seen Monster? Because I haven't.
No, I haven't.
I
But I've heard
didn't-
amazing things about it.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good. Obviously, Charlize Theron is because she won an Oscar for it.
By the way, you put Halle Berry in the script, and I had to double check that. I was
I
like,
know.
you meant
realized-
Monsters Ball.
Yeah.
You meant Monsters Ball.
Yeah, I realized I switched them up.
I read it. I was like, I have to do my fact check. Here. But this is a very interesting chess piece being moved here.
Yeah, because we early reported on the show Michelle McLaren, and I was totally excited for that because Michelle McLaren did Breaking Bad episodes, Walking Dead episodes, and Game of Thrones episodes. I
She's
believe,
brilliant. Yeah,
which is,
she's great.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing. Those are three of the biggest TV shows around,
I wonder
So-
if they just weren't letting her do what she wanted to do.
which would be a shame.
Which would be a shame. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was whatever her vision was strong.
Yeah, I would imagine.
One thing that
But-
Patty Jenkins seems capable enough. She's also done some TV and some good
Right.
TV. But the thing that worries me about this is DC just hiring a female just to have a female and
Right.
say they have one for the Wonder Woman movie?
Right.
Are they not picking the right person for the job?
Right, which is a fair question. I wondered that also, but at the same time, if she directed Monster, which got good critical praise, and she directed another female to an Oscar, I wonder if she'll get the best out of Gal Gadot and get some good stuff from it also, because she's got experience, she's got stuff under her belt.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
saying, I'm absolutely not
So,
saying she's underqualified.
yeah.
I'm just wondering if
No, I
she's the
know.
best for this. And I hope DC's motives are not just based on gender. I hope it's based on
Right.
talent too, because she
Yeah.
has a lot of talent.
Right. So maybe they're getting the best of the two. Let's hope so.
I think everything will turn out okay. That's my biggest thing.
Thank you for your reassurance.
That'll do it for the top 5 this week. It's time for us to stalk into our review of It Follows. Jake, tell the people what they want to hear.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. Many people saw what should have been Best Animated Feature Film, The Lego Movie. Over $400 million worth of people, actually. One of the most memorable lines in the film is delivered from Morgan Freeman's character, Vitruvius. He simply says, "That idea is just the worst." That line very much applies to the film It Follows, but not in the sense you might think. Writer and director David Robert Mitchell has created, quite honestly, one of the most brilliant horror film concepts in recent memory. The idea Mitchell has sprung into theaters is only the worst for the film's characters, or whatever it decides to follow, because you simply can't get rid of it. And arguably, the scariest part is that the idea of the film is a metaphor for a real-life circumstance that an enormous amount of people deal with every day. I'm not going to give it away due to spoilers, but Mitchell has put this circumstance into a very clever and super smart idea onto the big screen. One of the many things I liked about the film is that unlike many horror movies, where they explain what the horror is, what it does, its motive or lack thereof, and how to get rid of it, It Follows does this through the use of actions. Its show-don't-tell method is super effective and works to its own advantage. The characters 90% of the time figure out everything about it on their own, with the exception of a little help from a person it was following previously. So let's get into these characters. Our main character is Jay, a young college student who is pretty much your typical college girl who lives her everyday, day-to-day life. She's had some family issues in the past and can't seem to quite find that perfect guy she's looking for. But these aren't really important themes to the plot, nor are they anything so different from any real-life character. Jay is played by Micah Monroe, who has only been in recent movies with a smaller role, but she handles the lead role here fairly well. Nothing mind-blowing, but no complaints either. She's believable and gets the job done. Jay has it follow her for most of the movie. The way it follows you is if whoever it is following passes it on to you in a manner that I'm going to leave out also, just in case it's considered a spoiler. The only things we know about it is that there is no actual name for this monster/being. The characters simply refer to it as it. Whoever it is passed on to will follow you wherever you go, simply trying to kill you. If it succeeds, it goes straight up the line to the next person, and so on. We found out more about it at the same time as the characters do. We follow them the whole way and piece together information as they do. Jay's sister Kelly, played by Lily Sepe, her friend Yara, played by Olivia Lucardi, and her guy friend/friend-zoned one in the group, Paul, played by Kira Gilchrist, all deal and help Jay with this problem she is facing and do whatever they can to help. There are a few other minor characters, but this is the main crew throughout, and the overall performances were fine. Some a little better than others, some written a little better than others, but nothing too bad or too spectacular. They all generally get the job done and are believable in their respective roles. Some of the best parts about It Follows are its very clever concept, which goes with its well-written script, and the use of camera work and makeup. The film runs on an extremely low budget of about $2 million, and they make it work really well. It doesn't feel like your typical modern-day horror film either. It actually feels like something from the 80s. And one of my favorite things about it is the method in which the writing and directing decides to scare you. In other words, they don't take the lazy way out with the jump scares. They genuinely capture the feel of suspense, the creeps, and actual fear throughout the movie. There are a few jump scares, but I was fine with them considering how common they are in today's horror genre, and they seem to be used just to make sure you were still reeled in. They may have been unnecessary or out of place, but I didn't mind them. The method they use to capture the fear in the movie is very clever. You can often see it a lot of the time in the movie, but the clever part is it can look like anything and can appear at any time. So ever since they introduced the idea to the audience, you're constantly looking out for it in practically every scene. The other part is they capture a modern-day Halloween/Michael Myers effect, in the sense that it is always walking, and no matter where you go or how far you travel, it will find you. Time of day, location, who you're with, doesn't matter. It is always following you, unless you pass it on to someone else. This is where I give props to the camera angles and makeup department. Every time it is following, you get the chills. It's quite simple, too. You see it eerily walking toward the main character, and it's about the creepiest thing you've seen in years. Bravo to the makeup department for making it look so creepy, and bravo to the camera work. Because anytime you can make the audience frantically look for your monster in every scene because it can look like anything, is well done. And there are plenty of wide and distant shots to make you on the lookout for it or expect it, whether it's coming or not, although technically it always is. Even the actors who play it did a good job. Because it can be anything, every actor to play it captures a creepy look, walk, and movement really well to ensure believability. There are even a few comedic relief moments, though, so the audience can take a breather, which is actually very important in horror films. Really no major complaints other than a few minor things like one side character is more annoying than she should be half the time, and I would have liked to see more morals questioned, a little more involving the idea of passing it on and knowingly give another person this terror to live with. But other than a few minor things, no big complaints. It Follows might not be for everyone, and it's not the most terrifying experience you'll ever have, but it is one of the better films in the horror genre you'll see for a while. And don't get me wrong, it is very creepy, and it will stick with you after you've left the theater, pun intended. The film doesn't try to scare you with jumps or gore. It's just a genuine, creepy, scary concept that is executed really well. And I look and wait for horror films like this all the time. And I've definitely found a diamond in the rough with It Follows.
This is a very well-executed horror film.
Very well.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I was too.
I was expecting pretty good things from it, and I left the theater like, wow, that was impressive.
I had seen the reviews. It's on like 95% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, which is really good.
Which is really good, really strong, especially for horror.
Yeah.
And usually, I put up a guard like about should I buy into the hype or should I lower my expectations? So I kind of like went in with a little bit of skepticism. Okay, could it be this really good? And it is really that good. It is a very atmospheric, very tense, creepy from start to finish film, which is what I want from a horror film.
Right.
I don't need to be. I like that you addressed the idea of a jump scare. I don't need a jump scare every moment.
No,
because
it's too much.
It
doesn't even
at the spur of the moment, it's intense.
Right.
But after that, it doesn't resonate with you. It just seems lazy.
Yeah, like 6 seconds later, it's like, okay, and on to the next thing, and it's kind of irrelevant at that point.
This film is really good at building tension, leaving enough things mysterious so that you're guessing and you're freaked out by less what you don't know than what you do know. This film withholds information, very vital information, for most of the runtime, and that really, really helps.
And it's also very kind of not quite low key, but it's very subtle in its scares too. It doesn't really use. There's literally only like 2 or 3 jump scares in the movie, and the way they scare you is very subtle. They creep up. It could be there. You're expecting it to be there, and half the time it's not. And in every shot where you can see behind the character, you have expecting it to be there because technically it is always following. It could be there at any time. And you're always looking for it. When it's there, you're creeped out. When it's not, you're in suspense of if it might be there or not. And that's very, very hard to do, I find, in today's horror genre.
This is a masterclass of directing by David Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. He uses all of his different technical aspects to make this as intense an experience, but not overwhelmingly intense as possible.
Right.
It is consistent dread thanks to camera work, like you said, some really inventive shots.
Yep.
Makeup was really important here, as you said.
Yes, very important.
The score is one of the best scores I've heard in years.
I forgot to mention, the score is creepy. In the trailer, it sounded a little odd, but watching the movie, it fit really well.
It's a major throwback to 80s horror, and it fits perfectly. The actors do a really good job of selling this terror. I had the same minor complaints as you. I found that one side character you're talking about a little obnoxious and kind of out of place. She's clearly the comic relief character.
Right, and
but
sometimes
she's never
it works,
actually,
sometimes it's just...
I never actually found her that funny. I just thought she was kind of really forced. The jump scares are a little tedious at points.
Right.
I can see what you're saying about the moral issues. I didn't have that exact problem.
Yeah, I don't even consider it a problem.
Yeah.
I would have just liked to see it, because I feel like that would have definitely been, like, if this was a real life thing, if this was actually happening, I feel like that would have been a part of it more.
Overall, this is really strong stuff
really well done.
thematically and stuff, and I think we should do ratings and final thoughts for
definitely.
it, because I think it's so good that we don't really have that much to say negatively about it.
Don't want to spoil it either.
Yeah,
but-
and we want to be really careful and guard the initial experience, but you gave it an 8 out of 10, right?
Yeah, I believe I stuck with an 8. Room for improvement. And one of the things I liked about it is, I know we disagree on this. I personally really like Sinister. The first time I saw Sinister, it wasn't that, it kind of had the tone where it was suspenseful the whole time. It relied on some jump scares, but it had real intensity also. And I found that its general feel and tone of the movie was so dark and intense, and it stuck with me. But Sinister is not quite as good on a rewatch, because it kind of goes with, Sinister goes with a lot of, like, who's doing, like, what the monster is and what its motive is.
Yeah.
And once you find out,
It really doesn't have as big an
that's it.
impact
You watch
again.
the movie and
Yeah.
you already know everything. Where It Follows, you pretty much know everything kind of in the movie, and then it's about how they deal with it. So I think on a second and third viewing, It Follows will be stronger than Sinister is, which I really liked.
The problem I have with Sinister, it's good at atmosphere. It doesn't translate that atmosphere to intensity for me. The biggest moments for me that I felt intense were the jump scares, and I've told you how
Which, yeah,
I
you're not
feel
a fan
how
of.
I feel
Yeah.
about those. It Follows is able to take its atmosphere, all of the technical aspects of the film, all the thematic aspects of the film, and translate that into a devastatingly, like, frightening experience at times.
Yeah.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think it's my favorite film of the year so far. I'm thinking back on it. There were just so many memorable moments in this. I highly recommend it to, especially anybody that's a horror fan. This is the movie for you. But yeah, I think I've exhausted everything I can say about it.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty
Absolutely
much
go
set
see
also.
it. If not, it'll probably be on Netflix soon. Check it out before the end of the
Hopefully.
year.
I would love to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Don't let it get lost in the major releases of the year. That's what I would warn. That'll do it for our review of It Follows. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with the most important member of the Middle Seats crew.
Why should people watch the other half? Phenomenal question.
We really get down to the issues. Oh.
Now it's trendy, it's hilarious.
It's something that every college student can relate to.
It gets very provocative.
It's really great to see what the opposite sex thinks about things.
Real men don't do that, all right? You gotta start seeing some real men.
Okay. You know, there's some times where Rob and I have a little bit of a disagreement on subjects. Final thought.
Oh my god. I look jacked.
No. We do episodes on fashion, sports, text translation, first dates.
It's just an international sensation that this show is going to be sweeping the nation.
It's a fiasco.
Really, every college student in the world should be watching this show.
Low 5. No.
Welcome back. We wouldn't have anything on the Middle Seats. When Jake and I started this show just over a year ago, we literally had no idea what we were doing. 22 episodes in. We've done 22 episodes, Jake.
Which is
It's only
incredible.
slightly debatable if we have any clue what we're doing. But, as you could see. But we've at least improved.
Yes. And however, none of what we've done here on the show would be possible or even close to plausible without our fearless leader, mentor, and friend, director Peter Malavenda. So tonight is the first episode of the Middle Seats that will not have Peter's name under director. That honor goes to Amanda Splendoria, who's making her debut. Congrats, Amanda.
The reason Peter isn't directing tonight is because he's coming out from behind the scenes to spend some time with us on camera tonight to give you some insight of the real Malavenda. Peter, thanks for joining us.
The
tonight.
real Malavenda. It was quite a pleasure standing here watching you do all this. Here I am out here, not in there. Big shout out to Amanda for directing tonight, doing a fantastic job. This is what it's like on the other side of the middle seats.
So great to have you on the show finally,
Thank you,
Peter.
thank
We
you.
had to happen.
Peter, we finally are on camera together. Peter and I have been working together for 2 years now. We've never been on camera together, and this is finally our moment.
This is our moment, and
I'm getting a little dusty-eyed.
I'm a little scared, but
Should also be noted they shared a 2 for $20 at Applebee's last night.
We
and
did.
it was delicious.
It was
It was
amazing.
so
oh my
good.
God. We didn't get the lava cake, though. You always let me break it.
yeah.
All right. Question.
Oh, boy.
We have some
Here we
questions
go.
for you,
Let me get my
basically.
questions ready.
Did you take notes? Did you
I
take
took
notes?
I took some notes. I needed to.
Oh, you're the best director.
All right, thanks.
Peter, what's your favorite movie of all time?
This
We're a
is-
movie show. We have to
This
ask.
is a bad question to ask me because
Good.
if
That's
you,
a good start.
If you don't know me, I don't watch movies, and I really should. It's bad. If I had to go classic movie I've seen in art of film, Goodfellas, right?
Fair choice.
Martin Scorsese,
fair.
yes.
Yeah.
Fair choice.
Okay, thank God. And
a good movie.
recently,
Great movie.
we went to see Gone Girl. I thought that was fantastic.
Gone Girl's
so
very
amazing.
good also.
Two
choices
very
all
good
around.
choices. Yeah.
Thank you. I really tried.
Yeah, Goodfellas is probably, it's considered a classic at this point.
Absolutely,
I would say.
yeah.
And Gone Girl might be up there. It's one of the best, thrillers
Yeah.
out there, I would say.
I won't put the classic label on Gone Girl just yet.
Not
We're
yet,
gonna give
but
it
it
like
could be
5,
there.
10
Right,
years.
Could be there.
So walk us through a day in the life of the Middle Seats director, like how you prep for the
This
show
should
and
be-
help us
this is
out.
interesting.
I know I'm with you most of the way, but let them know.
Let them know. Okay, so Middle Seats does not just happen in an hour. Andrew and Jake come in here, and it looks like everything is set to go. But it starts in the morning. I see Andrew work at the media center, and I say, Andrew, did you write the script yet? And he says, nope. I said, okay, well, you should probably write it soon. He writes a script, and you guys really do everything. I don't do too much anymore. I sort of just come in here and call the shots. Amanda, good job taking my
He comes
camera
in, he
right now.
smokes a joint, and
Come
just
in,
goes.
smoke a joint, and direct the show. What else is there to do?
Peter's being super modest. Peter does so
He
much.
smokes 2 joints.
I
He's
hear
being really
them
modest.
in the control room.
Peter does so much. We typically the script will start like really late Wednesday night. I typically wake up my roommate at like 2 a.m. coming in after finishing some of it. But Peter does most of the prep, and he's a great director.
Thank you.
I've directed like 2 episodes of the other half, and I literally have texted him before each, like, what do I do?
There was no.
How do I do this?
There was no Middle Seats at the beginning without Peter, especially now.
Not at all.
The tech stuff, I knew nothing, and Jake knew less than nothing.
I still know nothing.
And we learned, and you'll see in the show that we definitely learned a few things. But it's fine, and we build through the mistakes, and it's been such a pleasure directing this show, and I think that's why it's so amazing today.
Yeah.
PowerPoint to graphics.
So besides all of this, like all this media stuff,
Right,
the stuff that you want to do with the rest of your life, what are some of your other hobbies?
Other hobbies? What?
Other things you do?
I do other things.
Yeah, I like. Do you live in this building?
I do live in this building, and for those of you who know me, I do have a life outside of my media life. It's very limited, actually, because this is what I do for a hobby. I love doing this. My friend Christina and Amber out. They're both out there.
Oh, hey.
So hello to them. God, I love to eat food. That's my hobby.
You love to do what we need to survive.
I do what I need to survive. I love
Sleep.
to eat. I used to be a pilot. I used to do some flying and stuff. So
true?
That's yeah.
that's a little.
Yeah,
little-
that was the one I wanted you to say.
Oh, the
That's
flying,
insane. I
yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to be a pilot, and back when I was young, and I stopped, but we're going to go back and finish
you
that
really
up.
just like control everything.
So-
Planes, shows.
Planes,
Fox
shows.
Fox News is next.
Fox News is coming. Watch out.
Speaking of Fox News,
Speaking of Fox
who are some of your influences? I really don't hope you don't say Fox News. I mean, you can if you want. It's a free country, but
CNN. Just kidding. Not
Oh.
CNN, not at all. But who are my influences? This is always a hard question for me. A lot of my influences aren't, big celebrity people. It's just people who I work with every day. On a professional level, I'd say Jimmy Fallon is one of my mentors just because everything he does is so professional. People love him, and he just nails it every night on his show.
maybe the most likable guy in Hollywood.
Most likable guy in Hollywood. And what's better than being that likable? Another big shout out to director of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Rich DePiro, another big mentor of mine. Had a fantastic experience working with him. And then here, all of you guys, entire Middle Seats crew, Andrew, Jake, Amanda, directing. And like after tonight, I can see I don't even need to direct anymore. My friends, Marissa Ayuto, co-news director, those
Yeah.
people make everything worthwhile for me and inspire me to just work so hard every day because they do a lot of things that I can't, and I learn so much from them.
Yeah. Peter, you have about 3-4 weeks left. I mean, you're taking classes in the fall, but it might be a little different. Plans for after college? What is your give me like a 10-year plan where Peter Malavenda will be in 10 years.
Hopefully sitting in this seat, but I hope the studio's a lot nicer and I'm making a lot more money than I am right now.
Sitting right in this seat.
This seat, because Marist will be some sort of entertainment
We'll have
show or
holograms
news show. I don't
We'll
know.
have holograms by then.
Yeah,
we don't need
PowerPoint
TV.
and
We don't need
whatever.
anchors
Holograms.
anymore. We don't need anything. I love getting out here and talking. I love creating content. Like, this is fun. What we're really doing here is, putting together something that people can do to relax and just get away from the real world. And that's just what I want to be able to do for people.
That's a really great way of putting it.
If you've never, for our viewers who have never seen news, I recommend watching news. And
MCTV Weekly News Update.
when
Yeah.
Peter's on, because I've been to a few news shoots. I think I've seen Peter anchor twice, and he just You kill
Thank
it
you,
there,
thank
too.
you, thank
Does
you.
really
It
good
doesn't
job
happen
with
very often that I get on camera, so
I do.
that's what I need
I
to
do really recommend you watch the news show, though. It's a completely different
Yeah.
animal, and Peter runs it like a well-oiled machine. And
Thank
it's
you.
Incredible.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, guys.
No, yeah, he
Thank
tames
you.
the beast that is news.
It's a beast.
It's like a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Dragon beast thing. Yeah. Anything you change? Anything you changed in the time you spent here at Marist?
No.
Or at MCTV specifically?
No, I do not believe in having any regrets of any kind. I just wish, I remember being a freshman and thinking, my God, I got 4 years here. Like, how am I going to meet all these people? What am I going to do with myself? And now it's almost over, and it's sad. My best advice is to just say yes to everything and to do everything you possibly can.
Yes, man.
Yes, man. Do it all, and don't regret anything.
It's a great answer.
You ever see that movie with Jim Carrey? Yes, man.
Well, obviously not, because I had to pull together a top movie. Took me 10
Well,
minutes.
Yes,
that
yes
wouldn't
man
be a
would
top
not
movie.
be there.
That would
It
not
would
be a
not be
top
there.
All right,
movie.
okay, good. Just making sure.
All
Can you
right.
imagine Peter like Goodfellas, Gone Girl.
Goodfellas, Gone Girl.
All right. So,
Sex tape.
So Peter,
Sex tape. Wait, hold on. Can we talk about sex tape for a second?
Yes.
Because you didn't ask me what my
Sex tape.
least favorite movie was, and it's Sex Tape by far. Went to see it with my friend Nash. Texted Andrew the minute after.
he almost got me fired from the UPS store. I had to pick up my phone and I see Sex Tape was the worst movie of
The
all
worst
time.
movie I've
Rah, rah,
ever
rah.
seen. Don't watch it.
I had to bring it up. I had to.
Oh, thanks.
All right, so Peter, we've talked about some serious stuff here, quote unquote serious stuff. But now if that was serious, if that was not serious, get ready for what we have here.
Oh,
We're gonna play a
no.
game. We're gonna play a game.
Fun game.
Okay.
This game is called "What Are You Doing There?"
Good.
This game is
It's gonna
basically
go
we
really
had
well.
one of our friend Dave Aiken. He photoshopped your face onto a bunch of famous movie scenes, and you're gonna have to explain to us what you were doing there.
All right.
So you ready to start? We have our program manager here.
Okay.
You've seen this
I'm
one
gonna
already.
have to kind of creep
Explain
back
to
a little
us.
bit to
All
see
right.
what's
So
going on. Can we just pull
what
that
are you doing
monitor
here?
a
Let's
little
pull the
bit
monitor
way?
this way, and let's get the picture over
Yes.
top of it so we can see it.
We're looking. Hang on here.
Yeah.
There's something behind me, I'm sure.
There's
But
something. Yeah, there's something behind.
It's
it.
coming.
We have.
Hang on.
Laura to the rescue.
This is TV, folks.
Live TV.
Yes.
Live TV.
Live
All
to
right,
tape
there
TV.
you
Shout out to
go.
Laura.
Can you
Great.
see?
I can see very well. This is me.
Fantastic.
I took over for Tom Cruise in Risky Business for a little bit, and that is me getting down with myself,
With your bad
with
self.
my bad pantsless self. True story. I have that button down.
Peter,
I'm not surprised.
this is the most serious question I'm going to
I
ask
have
you
that.
all
What?
night.
Yes,
Are you wearing any underwear?
Breaking.
after the show.
Okay.
After the show.
Peter.
The FCC is going to call.
So I didn't know Peter filled in for Tom Cruise because Peter's also filled in for Terry Crews on Millionaire.
Filled in,
Didn't
not sure
know.
if filled in is the word, but yeah, I had a little bit of fun with Terry Crews on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so I was wearing pants in that one, though. Not like this, not like that one.
Let's just keep going before you self-destruct here.
Please, next
I
question.
did that once.
Let's get the next one up here. So, Peter,
Let's check it out.
let's see what are you doing here? Let's get this over.
All right.
You look like you're having some issues here with some Somali pirates.
You know, I know where this photo came from. This is
Spring break.
spring break.
He is not Captain Now.
I went on a cruise spring break.
You didn't get any
And
tan.
I didn't get tan.
You didn't get
I did not
anything.
get tan, but things went really, really wrong, really, really quickly. That's me on the Maersk, whatever that ship was, and I'm getting hijacked.
Maris cruise ship. We actually have one of those.
That's actually what
I'm
it's called,
getting
Maris,
hijacked.
whatever that ship was.
Terrible, terrible time.
It's a really terrible title. All right, let's get the next one up there, and let's see what's going on here in this one. So, Peter, you look like you're in a
Yep.
bit of a sticky situation here, too.
Oh no, there I go.
I didn't think they were still around, but you found some velociraptors.
I found some velociraptors.
Aren't they in the woods behind Gartland? Aren't there a couple back there? Is that what you were
Those are the
doing?
maybe
There's
the
a
gophers
goat
are
and a velociraptor.
velociraptors. I don't know.
This is me in Jurassic Park. Right? Is that where I am?
Yeah, that's where you are. Peter.
Yes, I'm in Jurassic Park. So exciting. And I managed
You
to
were there.
escape, actually. True story. I'm a distance runner by trade, and I just,
I
jump
really
right
hope
out
you
there.
escaped. You wouldn't be here if you
No, I
didn't
wouldn't be
escape.
here.
All right, let's get the next one up.
Many of Peter's adventures.
Thank
Many
God
adventures
Peter.
of
Thank
Peter.
God Peter's
All right,
still
let's
here.
see what's next.
Let's see what's next. Oh, this one's really intense. Where do we take this one, Peter?
Bathroom
Bathroom at Mahoney's?
at Mahoney's. Those are my eyes, in case you couldn't tell. I don't know where I am. I don't remember what was happening to me. Can we reenact that? Like, there I am.
That's actually Peter peeking into his closet every morning and seeing the button downs. That's what that is.
No, that's me when I realized I only
Yes,
had one
button downs.
One
They're
button
still
down.
here.
It's not good.
My button downs.
Let's get the next one
This
up.
is scary. We need to move on.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one.
Do they get better? Or
This one,
worse?
this one might be my favorite.
All right. This happened to me
I can hear Brittany.
a few weeks ago. I was, I was just out and about. I was after Sunday Mass. Just got out and
You're dressed for Sunday
northern
Mass, I'll give you that.
Nebraska and crop
You go all the way to Nebraska
crop
for Sunday
duster
Mass.
just comes and gets all up in my face, and I just didn't even know what to do about it. It jumped on the wing, and I flew on the wing.
Then that's
Was the
incredible.
homily solid at least?
Incredible.
That's all I
Homily
wanna
was
know.
on point.
Okay.
Peter, what don't you do? Velociraptors?
Velociraptors.
I was surprised you weren't piloting
Flying-
that plane over
I
there.
did because the other guy.
You took over? No.
Did you kill him? Okay.
Let's see what's next.
Moving on.
Again,
to our next-
FCC.
Moving
Let's see
on,
what's
please.
next. We have a couple left,
We
I
have a
think.
couple left.
Oh, yeah, this one's good.
Oh, good. Here we go. All right.
That was actually Peter, circa like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Isn't that one on your driver's license that we saw the other day?
Yes, that is my driver's license photo. Also, I had curly hair. I have to straighten it every day. Otherwise, that's what you get. That's me in Elf. It was the first movie I ever starred in, actually. And
You got the forehead of Putin.
I really miss it.
He's got a 5 head, more like.
Listen,
Who are you pointing to?
I don't even know what I'm pointing to.
We can see your head. but
I
we're
can
go-
see
we're
my head
okay.
too in the camera right now.
All right, I believe we've got I think two
there
more.
one-
We got two more
more
left.
time?
We got two more left.
What do you got for
This
me,
one,
guys?
this one's good.
right,
this
here we
was
go.
this was Peter's heavy metal phase. It had to have
Oh no, no, no!
been 7 days.
7 days, 7 nights. That's me.
3 middle seats
Circa
episodes.
6th grade when I used to have really long hair. That's a true story. My hair was almost that long.
That looks like me during my My Chemical Romance phase.
Yeah.
I had that
don't
phase in
know-
middle
I don't
school.
know what
Throw
to
on some braces.
I'm not sure what to call that, guys, but
All right, I think we saved the best for last. Let's get this
all
last
right, here we
one
go.
out
Best for last.
This is my favorite one. I said that like a couple times. We're gonna have to put it over.
No.
And
Oh no.
it took me a while to find it. but
First of all, who put that shade of lipstick on me? Because that is definitely
That
not.
is
I thought
100%
that
Dave
was your
Bacon.
lipstick. I thought that I saw that on your desk last week.
That is not my shade.
You
No,
actually
no.
did leave your lipstick at my house, or someone did.
That's my millionaire
Saturday.
chapstick. Very, very different, folks. All right, it's great. It's pomegranate. It's so good.
It looks,
Is that foreshadowing? Never mind.
It foreshadows nothing at all except pomegranates.
I'm so done. Peter,
Guys, you brought me on the
Peter,
show.
thank you so
No,
much for
Thank
you
joining
had-
us.
you so
you had-
much.
you had to be
Thank
here.
you.
You had
Thank
to.
you.
Thank you so
And-
much
and-
for joining us. Thank you for all that you've done for us over the
Which is
years.
a lot.
And let me just say thank you so much for allowing me to be here and direct this show for so long. It's in such great hands
Thank
now.
you for directing it.
No, like directing this show is my favorite part of the week, and Amanda, you're going to do an amazing job taking over. So congrats to the whole crew and talent, and I wish you many more seasons of success.
Trust me, Peter, this show will be a footnote on your IMDb page when you're directing major things.
And
And we know major things are coming.
And thank you. And I just better be working for the show when it's actually airing on a major network.
Oh, God.
Next.
Oh, God.
Finkel and
Oh,
Ebert.
no.
Finkel?
What's his name?
Siskel.
Siskel.
I think we need to end this.
We're done.
We're done.
That'll do it
We're
for this
done.
episode of MCTV's The Middle Seat. You just hurt my heart.
So if you have any questions about Finkel or Peter or anything, our email address is below. Also, like us on Facebook. Peter is there anywhere people can find your stuff on the. Where can we find your stuff on the internet?
I'm anywhere in the world. It's a true story. Just come find me.
Italy, especially.
Yo, you got a
First
mixtape?
class.
I'm in,
You got a mixtape?
I got a mixtape. I'm going to drop my mixtape. It's going to be fantastic.
All right, good.
Promise.
Next week, we'll be reviewing the
Mixing out that
Skype-based horror film Unfriended.
No, I you looked at me.
It's your turn.
Stop touching me. That'll do it for us. I'm Jake.
Oh, I'm Peter Malavenda too, by the way. Bye, guys.
Oh my
Peter. All right.
God.
Gotta keep in there and get my.
Rock the boat to rock the
Rock
boat.
the boat, Jack. Keep that seat warm, everyone. We'll be back before that nasty rash on your wrist starts. Get that checked out. See a doctor.